Hi.
Hello and welcome to That's English. Ashley, we've just finished Module 4.
Well, then it's time to revise the most important points of the module.
Exactly.
Do you remember Unit 1?
In Unit 1, we saw people expressing prohibition. For example, you mustn't drink alcohol if you are under 18.
Let's watch some examples.
OK. Number 1. The students mustn't drink alcohol.
In the theatre, you mustn't talk and you mustn't use mobile phones.
You mustn't take that tie off.
We also saw people describing habits in the past.
I used to play football on Saturdays.
Now watch.
I used to make reservations on the telephone.
We used to go out more. We didn't used to stay in and watch TV all the time.
You used to love football and sport. Now you're in your room all the time playing on that computer.
In Unit 2, we talked about advertising and we learned to express hypothesis.
Expressing hypothesis. For example, if you eat good food, you'll be healthy. Watch.
If you take Vitavit, you'll be fit for life.
We won't sell any vitamins if he's boring.
We also saw people giving advice or a suggestion. Watch again.
Well, if you don't want to advertise brands, throw away these branded pants.
We also saw ways of expressing result. Expresar el resultado de una acción.
For instance, I'm so happy that I'm going to dance.
Watch.
Oh, help me! I'm very angry. I'm so angry that I'm going to scream. Very soon!
Now I take Vitavit, I'm so energetic that I walk 10 miles every day.
Let's continue. In Unit 3, we talked about humour and learned about agreeing and disagreeing.
Cómo se reacciona ante una opinión cuando estás de acuerdo y cuando no estás de acuerdo. First, agreeing. For example, I love TV comedies.
Me too. Watch.
I don't often watch comedy.
Me neither, and I'm an agent. That old man, I think he's so funny.
Yes, me too. Really funny.
And now disagreeing. Watch again.
Look, I'm laughing.
Well, I'm not.
Well, I am.
You just don't understand the jokes. I think it's really funny.
Well, I don't.
We also saw people asking for things. For example, Annabelle, can you pass me the pen, please?
Yes. Here you are.
Thank you.
Now watch.
Can you pass me the flyer, please?
Can you get me a drink, please?
And finally, we saw people asking for help.
Asking for help. For example, can you help me to send an email? Watch.
Can you help me to choose a card, please, sir?
Yes.
Can you help me, please, to open the envelope?
The topic in Unit 4 was music.
And we saw some examples of how we identify other people or things.
For example, she's the person who works at reception. Now, watch.
Classical music is the type of music which I listen to in the bar. My name is Jade, and I'm a girl who loves hip-hop.
He was the driver that came to the airport.
Do you remember how people expressed preferences in Unit 4?
Expressing preference. I prefer to listen to classical music. Or, I prefer hip-hop to jazz. Watch.
We play loud, hard rock music, but in our spare time we prefer to relax and have a quiet time.
I prefer country music to R&B.
I prefer heavy metal.
Do you remember the American couple? They learned a lot about British traditions in Unit 5.
And we learned to refer to unspecified things or people. Someone phoned you yesterday, Annabelle.
Really? Who was it?
I can't remember, I wrote it down somewhere in my notebook. But first, watch.
We're going to see something new.
And we also learnt how to use the interrogative and negative forms, like anything, anyone, anywhere.
And nothing, no one, and nowhere. Watch.
Have you done anything interesting since you arrived in the UK? Have you seen anyone? Have you been anywhere nice?
And what will they do if you don't give them sweets?
Oh, nothing too bad.
We also saw people using however and on the other hand to contrast information.
I thought Britain was a modern country.
It is. However, we've got a lot of traditions.
Can I have some toad in the hole, please? I know it's not healthy, but on the other hand, it is absolutely delicious.
And finally, we learnt how to contrast two ideas using on the one hand, but on the other hand.
Yes. On the one hand, it's very good to remember Mother's Day.
But on the other hand, it's very bad to forget your wife on Valentine's Day.
Elaine's right. You must remember to send a card to your wife on Valentine's Day.
And now, do you remember Unit 6? The topic was dreams, and we learnt about narrating past events using the past continuous. For example, I was watching TV at 10 o'clock last night.
Do you remember Rosie describing what was happening in her dream? Watch.
I was walking along a corridor and I was feeling tired.
You were feeling tired, I see. So, in her dream, why was Rosie crawling along a corridor?
I was asleep. I was having a wonderful dream. I was swimming in a beautiful lake. The water was warm and I was floating.
And finally, we learned how to narrate events using the past continuous with the past simple.
For example, while I was staying in the hotel, I met an old friend. Watch.
While I was sleeping at my desk, my boss woke me up.
Well, how many burglars were there? What were they doing when you went downstairs?
And now let's move on to Unit 7. We talked about the environment and we saw people expressing possibility.
For instance, I might go on holiday to the USA next year. Watch.
Take this river, for example, Mr. Rice. Your company may receive an environmental grant to clean it up.
No, Roland. Companies who recycle their waste can save £250,000 every year. You may save the environment.
Oh no. It's going to rain. And rain is very dangerous. I might fall.
And do you remember how to express hope? Manifestar expectativas o ilusiones.
I hope to play tennis this weekend, if it's not raining.
Anyway, I hope to retire soon. I've got a flat in Spain and a house in Scarborough. I hope to play a little golf and drink a lot of wine.
Finally, we also learnt how to express quantity.
I'd like a little water, or I've eaten a lot of biscuits. Now watch.
I like my coffee with a little milk and a lot of sugar.
You said that you needed to make a few changes. You mentioned carbon emissions. You talked about a bit of pollution in the river.
That was a very interesting unit.
Yes, it was. In Unit 8, we talked a lot about technology, and we saw people talking about events that happened in the past and about intentions for the future. First, an example in the past. Last night, I was surfing the internet when my laptop crashed. Watch.
I was trying to print a document. Oh, yes, thank you. I was doing some work on the computer when it crashed.
We also saw people talking about recent past actions. For example, I have sent 10 emails today. Watch again.
Come on. I've completed the order form and I've checked the paper in the printer.
Today I'm really excited because I've bought a new phone.
And then we saw people asking about intentions.
For instance, are you going to look for a new job? Let's watch.
Are you going to print this document?
And then we also saw people asking for instructions on how a computer works.
How does this work? What's the first step?
Now, Eric, what do you do next?
Clive and Chef were lucky they had Anna to help them.
Yes. Now, in Unit 9, we talked about entertainment. For example, going to the theatre, cinema and concerts.
That's right. And we saw people describing actions, describing the way they do things, quickly, slowly, etc.
For instance, I'm talking slowly. Watch and listen.
I need a map. I get lost easily in London.
I love Oxford Street. I know it well.
But Beth, you're speaking really loudly. Shouldn't you speak more quietly if you don't want your husband to hear?
Poor Ben. He didn't really understand the play.
No. We also saw how to apologise and how to accept an apology. Como pedir y aceptar disculpas. British people apologise a lot. It's part of being polite. Flora is extremely polite. Watch.
I'm so sorry.
That's okay. It's not your fault.
Excuse me. Sorry. It's okay.
No, I'm terribly sorry. I had to do something for my dad.
That's okay, Bob. It was only a few minutes. Don't worry about it.
We also saw people asking for confirmation.
Using short affirmative and negative questions. Watch.
There are tickets available for Les Miserables.
Are there?
Yes, and it starts 15 minutes later than Phantom. Does it? Yes. Wasn't that Cara Daly, the actress?
Now, to finish, in Unit 10, we talked about the news, las noticias.
That's right, the news and politics. And we learnt how to give information with emphasis on the event.
Veamos cómo podemos enfatizar un hecho al dar información. For example, the studio carpet was cleaned yesterday. Watch.
No, our computers are repaired by bits and pieces.
A message was left on my mobile phone this morning.
You wrote an article about his factory, and now more waste material is recycled.
It was okay. Nothing new or different. Emails were received. Emails were answered.
And finally, we saw people talking about recent news events. Hechos recientes que queremos resaltar porque son noticia. Watch.
This story has been discovered because you are never careful.
My phone messages have been listened to and my emails have been read. Fortunately, my phone hasn't been stolen.
Well, I've been given some news today.
Well, that's the end of Module 4.
We hope you've enjoyed it and that you've learnt a lot of English with us.
Thanks for watching That's English. We'll see you soon in Module 5.
Bye. See you soon.
Goodbye.